Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining the biggest virtual migration and education session, Conclave 2021, presented by Aussizz Group. Throughout today, we have run multiple education and migration sessions discussing various courses, popular occupations, and PR pathways. I hope most of you joined these sessions and the information provided was beneficial for you. There are more sessions scheduled for tomorrow as well. So you can check out the session schedule by clicking the link that will be provided in the chat box. Please note the timings provided are in Melbourne timing, so kindly take that into account. If you are in Western Australia, then we are 2 hours behind Melbourne. Today's session is about CCL, and the session is conducted by CCL expert Ms. Rini Mehta. Kindly mute yourself throughout the session. In today's session, learn about the importance of NAATI CCL with Ms. Rini Mehta and get insights about the CCL exam format, important tasks to get high score, and the tips and tricks. We will take the questions at the end of the session, so you can drop your questions in the chat room. Due to the time restriction, there will be only limited number of questions that we'll be able to take. But if your query is unanswered, then you can email us your query at info@ccltutorials.online. So this email address, I will drop it in the chat box as well. And also, if you have any other query about migration and education, then you can tune into our dedicated Q&A session, which starts after this session. It's at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. That's Melbourne time. And our experts will be waiting to take your questions. So migration agent and education consultant will be available for this session, and they will be able to answer your migration and education related questions. So for this session, to join the session, the link will also be in the chat box. Please do keep an eye on the chat box. All the necessary and important links will be provided there. Lastly, I would also like to inform everyone that this session is being recorded and it will be available in our YouTube once the session is completed. Now I would like to hand over to Ms. Rini Mehta for the CCL presentation. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Rini Mehta. I'm the CCL coach and I'll be guiding you about the techniques and tips to present how to give the exam and how to clear the NAATI session. So NAATI is conducting CCL exam and it is providing us an opportunity to clear the exam from the comfort of our home. So you can always give this exam from your home. It is now online and that is the benefit which you can always take. And to understand about this, I will be sharing with you the PPT and I'll be sharing with you on your screen. You'll be seeing my tips and tricks to clear NAATI. NAATI is very simple to crack, but there are certain things which is to be taken into account. For example, deductive marking techniques in NAATI, how to attempt the online platform, and how to undergo the session in a quickly and correct manner. So I will be sharing with you my slides in a while. First of all, while the session is starting, I'll just let you know that there are 2 dialogues in NAATI exam and that would be taken from the comfort of your home. So you need 2 devices to connect. One device will be online in front of you and second device will be at the back side of you, which will be covering whole environment and whole room. So that is important to understand. Okay, as you can see here on my screen, this is the CC NAATI gateway and it is a gateway to abroad. You can score 5 points from NAATI. What is NAATI? NAATI is the National Accreditation Authority for Translators and Interpreters. NAATI is the assessing authority of CCL test and it assesses our authority and the assessment is completed in 35 minutes, which include 10 minutes of reading time. So if the test is run longer than the duration, NAATI will seize the test and performance till that point will be judged. So in order to get a CCL language and get the bonus of 5 points, candidates should submit proof of CCL and NAATI here. So if you see on my slide here, if I move to the next slide, you will see that I will be talking about CCL. So CCL is an exam which is conducted by NAATI. I hope you are clear with this. Yeah. Now CCL is the Credential Community Language Test. It is an assessment of language ability. So if you are, for example, giving exam in Hindi, so you will be able to translate Hindi to English as well as English to Hindi. And this test will assess your 5 point for obtaining permanent residency visa. So if you are back from 5 point, you can get into the line ahead of everyone by scoring 5 points from this exam. Applications are granted points based on certain criteria at the time of invitation, and you can get points for your age, English skill, education, employment, all combined together will be there in your application. But you can get extra 5 points by giving the NAATI exam. Let's go to the next slide where you will see that after this exam, the topics which are covered in NAATI. NAATI does not assess you for all the complete Hindi vocab and language. It just gives you the topic which you should have the knowledge about. For example, business, consumer affairs, employment, health, immigration, settlement, legal, community, education, financial, housing, insurance, and social services. These are the topics covered on which you will receive the dialogues, dialogue 1 and dialogue 2. There will be two dialogues in exam and they will cover these topics. Let's go to the next slide where you will see that I will be sharing with you the time for the exam. So NAATI CCL tests are mainly taking place from Monday to Friday every day, and all the CCL tests are online. Candidates overseas can sit the test, and all tests run on Canberra, Australia time, which is our Melbourne time. So the assessment is completed in 35 minutes, but you are given an exam window between 3 to 6 hours. Please note that it may take up to 10 to 15 minutes to complete the setup, but this won't affect your test time once this is completed. You will be prompted to click on your test link. So you'll be given first 10 to 15 minutes to set up your examination timing, and then further you will be given 35 minutes to complete the test. Let's go to the next slide where you will see that we are talking about the online test platform which is taking place. Previously, NAATI was using Microsoft Teams and there was an invigilator in the online exam. But right now, NAATI has changed its technique and they are using Proctor Exam app, and it is used by NAATI for the purpose of taking online exam. Proctor exam will perform the necessary pre-test administrations, and it include ID and room check. So you will require two devices, and this exam can be given from the comfort of your home. So to take your exam, you need a computer as the Chrome's plugin required to share your screen, and is only compatible with laptop or desktop. So your front screen will only be laptop or desktop. But on the back side, you will have phone and tablet, which can be used only as the secondary camera to show your room and environment. The installation of software on your computer is not necessary at all. However, you are strongly advised to use Google Chrome so you can run the latest version of our screen sharing extension. So you cannot use any other browser. For NAATI exam, you should always open Google Chrome. Then NAATI will give you a link just 7 days before the exam. If you click that link, that extension will be downloaded on your Google Chrome browser, and you have to give exam from that extension only. That is a Proctor exam extension. But you might be required to use the camera of your smartphone, and note that there are three sets which are not compatible with the Proctor exam app: Huawei P30, Samsung Galaxy A3, and Google Pixel 3. You will not be able to run Proctor exam tool on these mobiles. So if you are using these mobiles, please try to set up another secondary device. They will not have the Proctor exam tool. Let's go to the next slide where we will see that how this exam takes place and what is the technical assistance. So during the exam, there will be audio and video which will be seen from them. So they are seeing your audio, they are seeing your video, your room, and any suspicious behavior will be flagged and may need clarification. Any breach of the test condition may result in cancellation of the test. So you cannot let anyone else enter in your room. So you are expected to be courteous and respectful towards NAATI support staff before, during, and after the test. If they are asking you some questions, you have to reply them. But usually it does not happen because you already know that there should be no person in the room. So lock your room before you start the test so no one can enter. A live chat is available for technical issue during the test, as well as dedicated support line or by emailing them. So during the test, if you find any difficulties, you can go to the bottom chat bot and you can message them, and they will reply immediately, or you can email them on onlinetesting@naati.com.au. Let's go to next slide where we will see how to give the exam. Now, these are the rules of the exam, because you should always adhere to the following rules when you give the test. You must have a suitable device for the test delivery, a computer or laptop that is a camera as well as the microphone, and in the background you have to put a tablet and a phone. And your phone will be used as a secondary camera to your environment and must be located behind or beside you. The test must be completed in a location that is free of distraction, no background noises should be there, and some people should not enter your room because they are checking your complete room from backside and from front camera. So do not allow anyone in your room while you are giving the test. Devices including mobile phone, laptop, tablets and other smart devices other than the device being used to take the test must be turned off, means they should not get any call, any notification or anything. So you can keep your devices in the airplane mode. So when you are putting your mobile on the back side of your screen, you can always keep it on the airplane mode and connect to the charger. Any candidate using a device to record or photograph test material or communicate with a third party will have their test cancelled. So do not try to use any third device, and please refer that you are not supposed to cheat in the exam. If they get any suspicious, they can cancel your exam. In order to take the test, candidates will need to provide proof of their identity. You can use either your driver's license or passport, but you cannot use any international driver's license. It should be an Australian recognized license, or you can use passport. International passport is allowed. Any country passport will be okay. This should be shown to the camera prior to the start of the test. If there is any doubt as to the identity of the test taker, the test result will not be issued. So take care that you give a proper ID before you book the exam. The video of the test will be recorded and reviewed prior to the test performing being assessed. Any non-compliance to NAATI's test policy may result in the test being invalidated. All candidates will be required to be online and logged into the session at the time advised. If you are late, you will not be tested. Let's check, these were the rules. Now let's check how we give the NAATI exam. So when we go to next slide, we will see test format. This is the test format. What is the test format? It's very simple. You will have two dialogue in front of you, and each dialogue will be a conversation. Very simple conversation. You can see a conversation between a parent and a teacher, and a meeting between them, or you can see a conversation between a gardener who is trying to mow the lawn. Any conversation could be there in front of you, but that would be related to the topics which I explained previously. Each dialogue is approximately 300 words, with about half in English and half in the Lote. Lote is language other than English, and the dialogues are divided into segments, 35 words or less. There could be 12 to 18 segments in exam, and you will get either short segment or a long segment. These dialogues reflect true to life situations that could happen in Australian society. So they refer to their society, they talk about normal things which are happening there, their law, their income tax, their normal things which are financial matters or society matters, such as you can get a center link question or a dialogue in your exam, which is not applicable in other countries, but they are specially focusing the questions based on Australian society. Over 40 other foreign languages are also included in the list of recognized languages such as Arabic, French, German, Gujarati, Hindi, Punjabi, Tamil and many more. So you can see so many languages which are there in which you can appear for the test. Yeah, let's go to next slide now where we will see how the test is conducted and what is the marking criteria for the test. So as you all know, test will give you two dialogues only. Previously it was having a lot many dialogues, but right now as it is not giving you any certificate for CCL test for interpreter, it has NAATI has done it a shortcut way and there are only two dialogues. Each dialogue carries 45 marks, and in order to pass the test a candidate requires at least 29 marks in each dialogue and an overall score of 63 out of 90. So if you want to pass the test, you need 63 minimum. But even if you are getting 63 or even if you are getting 70, but if you fail in one dialogue which is less than 29 marks, you will not be given pass. So to pass the exam, at least you should score 29 out of 45 in each dialogue and a total of 63 or more in total out of 90. So I think it is clear to all of you. It is very simple. 29 minimum in first dialogue, 29 minimum in two dialogue, but when we total it up, it will be 58. But that would be a fail. You need to cross 63 when you total up. So in situations, last point you can check, in situations where a candidate achieved 23 out of 45 in dialogue 1 and 41 out of 45 in dialogue 2. Overall score is 64, but still it is fail because he hasn't achieved required score in dialogue 1, which is 29. Okay, let's go to next slide now. And here we see deductive marking. NAATI requires quality and register. So your language quality and register should be there, and you should not do any four of these mistakes which are given: accuracy, distortion, omission, or insertions. If you do any of them, any three of them together in one dialogue, even if you are translating perfectly, it will go for a fail. So take care that you don't do any mistake. Out of these four, do not do any mistake. Three mistakes together in your dialogue, in one dialogue. So four things are required: accuracy, there should not be any distortion, there should not be omission, and there should be no insertion of anything other than whatever audio is being played to you. Let's go to next slide. We'll study more about all these things, where we will see what is an online exam. In online exam, NAATI gives you four buttons: record button, stop button, next button, and submit button. Now there is no invigilator with you who can play it. You only have to play all these four buttons. When you play the record button, the segment will be played and you will hear an audio. After that, you will hear a chime, a bell, and after that you have to say your answer. Once your answer, you translated the answer, you will have to click stop. And if you click stop, the button after your translation, the audio will be uploaded automatically. Then you have to click next and you will move to the next segment. Again, play record, audio will be played, you will hear a chime, say the translation, stop. Next, like that you will move on to 16 segments or so, and finally you have to submit your dialogue along with your translation. So click submit, dialogue 1 will be submitted and you will move to the dialogue 2. Same steps with the dialogue 2, and finally you can click the finish button. Let's go to next slide now, where you will see that how to use the tools. NAATI gives two brilliant tools in exam: repeat tool and a correction tool. If you play repeat, if you click record button again, what will happen? The segment will be played again. But the first segment is free. There is no penalty. Like first repeat is free. So in each dialogue, you can just take one repeat for free. If you take more repeat, it will be with penalty. So you will be cut marks, -1 will be there for each time you are playing the record button or you are taking the repeat again for that particular segment. One dialogue, only one free repeat is there. There are two dialogues, so you can take in total two repeats, but do not take both the repeats in one dialogue. So very clear, each dialogue, one repeat can be requested without penalty. However, any further request for the repetition may be penalized by the examiner and you can get -1 for each repeat. Now let us check the correction tool. Correction is very simple. If let's say you are translating something and you by mistake said something else and now you want to correct yourself, for this you do not have to press any button. Just say correction and you will be able to answer the proper way in a correct way. But lengthy pauses and repeated reworking of segment will be viewed as the distracting significantly from the dynamics of the test task. So if you are using a lot of repeat and a lot of correction tools, you will be given a clear fail, because then the examiner thinks that you are not aware of the local language and so they will give you a clear fail. Let's go to the next slide, where we will see how NAATI takes exam and what are the tips and tricks to solve it. We have mainly two tricks, but we do use many other tricks in our classroom sessions. We particularly take note making, and it is essential to learn this technique because in this exam segments are sometimes quite long. So you can either write your notes, make shortcuts like how are you can write HRU, today you can write 2D, or you can do visualization where you can remember the keywords, phrases, visualize and divide it into phrases and say the answer. So there are two techniques which we mainly use, and other techniques are also there, such as in note making we learn how to make tree note making or spider web, or there are different techniques which we are showing in our classroom session. Let's go to next slide, where we will see the vocabulary. So yes, NAATI involves good vocabulary, but it is okay. You can use any word relatable to the language. You can say the language, and it will be given full mark until and unless the distortion is not there and you are just translating the meaning perfectly, you will get full mark. So just use any vocab, but that should give the perfect meaning. Now let's check the next slide, where you will have to see the dialogue translations and how to book the test. So you can go to My NAATI, click My NAATI, then there you will have your application registered. Once the registration is done, then you are allowed to make the payment and select a test date. Once the test date is selected, you can always change it later on by logging in again to your account. And but before that, you have to pay for the booking the test, which is $880, which is AUD. Find a suitable date and give test, and your result will be available to you within 4 to 6 weeks of your exam. And on successful clearing, you will have 189, 190, or 491, having 5 points for your PR. Let's go to the next slide, where you will see, if you have booked the test, how to how to join our CCL tutorials. We are very trained. We have a lot of trained experts in our CCL tutorials who will guide you how to clear different types of NAATI exam. You will have plenty of study resources. You will be able to identify what is the exam pattern, and we at CCL tutorials will be able to identify your weak areas and will help you to improve with the help of the expert feedback. Let's go to the next slide, where we will see how our online coaching works. It is a 2 months coaching, Monday to Friday, 1 hour every day. 7 mock tests will be provided for practice. Video recordings of the classes will be available. You will get free real exam dialogues to practice. Experts will evaluate your answers and complimentary access to the vocabulary bank. And our experts are there 24 hours to help you over the Telegram group. And the cost of our coaching is $199 AUD. Let's go to the next slide, where batch timings are given. You can check from the slide and check our website CCL Tutorials, and you can contact us at these given on the screen at these points. And the batches are running from Monday to Friday 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. AEST, and Monday to Friday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. AEST. Let us go to the last slide, where we'll see these are the platforms which we are using to help you: Telegram, YouTube, and Facebook. And yeah, I think yes, CCL Tutorials, you can join us with the offer. Thank you everyone. Leave your session review at this screen, on the screen at this link, and you can contact me at my phone number. This is Rini Mehta signing off. Thank you so much everyone.
Thank you, Rini. Thank you everyone for joining the session today. As Rini said, if you could, it will be great if you can leave us a review, so we can make further improvements in future. We will be running this kind of sessions more and more, this kind of session in future as well. So it's beneficial for international students who are currently residing in Australia, or offshore students who want to come to Australia, those people who are confused about migration pathways and courses. So all those things, like if you just give us a review, then we can make further improvement and bring a better quality of session for you next time. If you have any question, you can drop it down on the chat box. We have few minutes left to answer it. If not, I have I think yeah. So if not, you can send your inquiry at info@ccltutorials.online, which I have left on the chat box as well. And just to let you know, just reminding you again, there are more migration information session available tomorrow as well. So mostly tomorrow, migration agents will be running the session about general skill migration visa, like 189, 190, 491 state sponsorship, 491 family, employer sponsored visa, state nomination visa, parent visa stream, partner visa. All these migration related topics will be running tomorrow. If you want to register, if you have already registered, then that's great. If you want to find out about the schedule, want to find out what time the events are running, you can just click the link that I've just shared on the comment section, and you can find all the timetables for tomorrow's session. Just make a note that the times mentioned in the Eventbrite, it's Melbourne time. So please take that into account as well. And also would like to remind you that this recording of the session will be available on our YouTube page soon. So if you can just subscribe and hit the notification bell button, then you'll be notified about, when the video gets uploaded. I have shared our YouTube page in the chat box as well. And Rini, I think I have got few questions here. Sejal Patel is asking which NAATI I should choose if I can speak Hindi and Gujarati.
It depends on your strong language which you feel, but I think you should go with Hindi, because Hindi we have a lot of different type of varieties where you can get coaching properly from our institute, and you can join CCL tutorials. But obviously you have to check which is your weak language. If your Hindi is your weak language, and if you can work on that, you can always select Hindi. Otherwise you can go for Gujarati also. Thank you.
Another question is from Anindya. Rini, can you please talk more about secondary camera? What's the requirement?
Okay, yes, secondary camera is the camera behind your screen. So at the back side of your chair where you are giving your exam, you have to put it, and you have to just show that your room is visible to them with the help of the secondary camera. You can use two types of devices for secondary camera. Either you can use mobile phone or you can use a tablet. So any one of them, you have to keep it in the airplane mode, keep your Wi-Fi on, and in the mobile you have to download a Proctor exam app. And then during the exam time, you have to show your Proctor exam, your mobile to the laptop. There will be a QR code on your laptop from NAATI, and that could be shown to mobile, through which your mobile will be connected to the laptop or the desktop, whatever you are using. Thank you, Anna. I hope I answered it. Yeah.
I think we can take one last question from Gopi.
Okay.
If my first language is not Hindi, is it recommended to take up Hindi, and how difficult it is to clear? I have studied Hindi only in school, but I feel my Hindi speaking ability is average.
Okay, that's a good question, because we know Hindi, but we are not that much effectively speaking Hindi in everyday life if we are speaking some other language. So what will happen? You might miss something, but NAATI is very wonderful because it is not telling you to write the exam. It is just an oral exam. So you will be given an audio and you have to just translate it. So that would be much more easier if you take Hindi, because of the reason which I will focus, that you will have a wide variety of materials to practice. But even if you're weak, it is your weak language, you can always improve on it. And I don't think that there will be any problem if you take Hindi, because Hindi is very good, and the exams which are taking place with NAATI are really very simple with Hindi. And I'm an expert for Hindi also, so I can recommend you that it's really very perfect. Just only take notice of deductive marking from NAATI.
Thank you, Rini. So guys, if you want to take the CCL coaching classes, or you want to take the mock test, all the link is left on the chat box. You can follow that link and sign up. I think that's all for today. Please do leave a review for us. The link is in the chat box. And now there is another session happening for Q&A. So any migration or education doubts you have got, you can join the session. I have just shared the link to join the Q&A session for migration and education. Now we'll take a leave. Thank you very much, Rini, and thank you all the guests for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anna. Bye, everyone.